Your Honor, Dr. Nichols' death is a tragedy, but that doesn't mean my client should be penalized for it.
That is not what we're arguing.
Except it is. Under the circumstances, dragging out this trial longer than necessary infringes on Miss Oliver's rights. Let's just say the client burned out loud. The prosecution has lost their star witness. Their case is largely circumstantial without the doctor's testimony.
Slow down, Ms. Campisi. It's not unreasonable. It's appropriate. The prosecution includes
Oh, are we live already? Maybe, possibly.
Who knows?
Waiting on our producer to get here. We'll let you know if we're live here in a second. It seems like we might be, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm seeing live up in my left-hand corner of my screen.
Yeah, we'll see if anybody comes on and comments in a second. Lets us know. That's all right. He'll be here to guide us any minute now.
Looks like we got a comment from Musty Boy.
Hey, what's up, Musty? I guess we are live. Hello, everybody. How you doing tonight? Welcome to WrestleZone Unfiltered. Connor's in and out. I'm not sure what he's doing down there, but he'll be here in just a moment. Danny, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. If I was any better, I'd be you. Even though you said I was making you laugh at school today. It's all good. All good in the hood.
I know, that was the best. I was at work when I saw that comment and I was laughing, so I could not stop laughing.
Well,
And
like
my
I said,
coworker, she's like, "What's so funny?" And I'm like, "Just one of my guys from my wrestling group. That's all."
yeah, it's like I said, a lot of them youngins ain't old enough to remember the "Have you seen me" on the side of the milk carton. So figure maybe we can get Wardlow on there. Maybe we can find him.
I know. I'm just like, I mean, we found Ricky Starks, so that's good.
We're gonna start with that already. I don't know. I mean, God, I'm trying to think of what the main event was last night for Dynamite. I've had so much going on. Danny, help me out. What was the main event last night?
Honestly, we watched half of Dynamite because, guys, I hate to say this, but there's one name that got me watching NXT. Ricky Starks, how you doing? I finally am watching NXT now because of him. So,
well, and for anybody that wants to, bitch, moan, complain about his name change. I mean, I listened to some of his interview, and he said he picked out the name. I don't know if I didn't care enough to look to see if AEW had it trademarked or not, but that's normally the way that stuff goes if they don't keep it. And he said he picked it out. So if you don't like the Ricky Saints, I mean, then that's on you, because he said in the interview with Chris Van Vliet he picked it out. So. I'm trying to Konosuke versus Cassidy. All right.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you, Takara. I knew it was something with Takeshita, but I couldn't remember who it was against. But no, I mean, I like the Ricky I mean, it's weird seeing him. One, for me personally, it was like, oh, he got released and then he's on NXT. And I happened to be scrolling Twitter and I was like, wait, what? And I mean, I literally almost dropped my phone when I saw this. But for him to be released on a Monday and then pop up in NXT just through the crowd the next day with no name, nothing, it was, I mean, really special. And it was kind of shocking because you wonder, how did they pull that off?
Well, I'll tell you this much. Yeah, you're right. It's a little weird, but I'll be able to cope with Ricky Saints a lot better than some of the other names that has changed over the years. So we'll get used to it. Konosuke versus Cassidy was okay for me. I mean, I like Takeshita. I am not I'm not a big fan of Orange Cassidy. And if you are, that's great. He's not my cup of tea. So I'm not going to pick on him, for anybody that likes him. Cause again, it's entertainment. You like what you like, you don't, what you don't. Just never been a big fan of his. So, I mean, I like Takeshita. I like watching him in matches. Most of his matches I do enjoy. And, we're, coming up on the pay-per-view, him versus Kenny and, Will versus Kyle Fletcher again. We'll probably both get like 18.5 stars. Like one of them, one of them will get 18.5, one of them will get 18.6 to win the Star War for that night. So, I expect both those to be good matches. So, I mean, ratings, ratings, it don't give a damn. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The ratings only matter for the one person that are watching it. And unless you're a sponsor, unless you've got money tied up in it. If you're just watching it for the entertainment value, the only damn number that what you should worry about is that one you sitting in front of the TV. Anybody else sitting in front of the TV, whether they like it or whether they don't, it doesn't make a bit of damn to the rest of us. I mean, so I just don't get some of this shit going on with the ratings. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's it's just not 95% of us just trolls looking for interaction on the internet because they're bored and sitting on a beanbag naked eating Cheetos. And so you do what you want to do, and we'll sit here and bullshit about it. But yeah, Deshaun said, NXT has been NXT ass for so long. I mean, and those women, he's right. Deshaun's right. They're on fire, man. Those women have just been killing it. And you get, you'll get the few men's matches here and there. For the last 6-7 months, NXT's been all about the women, which I enjoy simply for the fact that I've been saying for a while, especially with the influx of women to NXT and all the ones on the main roster. And now with the incarnations of the NXT North American Women's Champion, the Women's Intercontinental Champion, the Women's U.S. Champion, they have enough star power and enough titles. Keep the main titles kind of for the main shows with a special appearance here and there, but they've got plenty of titles and plenty of big name women to have an all women show. I mean, if you were ever going to do it, now is the time to do it. It was good to see the Hardys back. They've already got a new t-shirt, so it looks like they're going to re-sign with WWE when their TNA contract comes up this summer for one last run. They deserve it. I hope Jeff can keep his shit together for one last run and not screw that up the way he seems to have done in the past. And I know he had his ups and downs, and that's not knocking him. That's a heartfelt comment. I hope he can keep it together for the rest of his life, but at least to where he doesn't tarnish his legacy, for whatever last run they're going to get here.
No, absolutely. And great to see them. And Backyard Beauty Queen Bucks. Remember, if you were pro wrestlers, you'd be in WWE and not in Cucamonga. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there. But no, I agree. And I hope that they do something great with this run. And I was reading, Jason, I don't know if you caught this, but there was something where there's major creative plans for them, I think. I don't know what specifically it was, but I remember seeing the headline.
Now I haven't seen it, but I'll tell you, I don't see how you get much better, than, everybody, knew without knowing when they made their return at WrestleMania back in 19, I think.
Yeah.
And that pop was, I mean, I never tell somebody when they should retire or quit their job, but that bringing in that crowd exploded that night, when they came out of WrestleMania and won that ladder match. To me as a performer, I mean, that would be like, how much higher can I go than that,
Oh yeah.
So, but God bless them. They went and did their thing. And I feel bad for Matt Hardy because, that broken gimmick was so over in TNA and on the indies and in Ring of Honor that I do believe that if COVID had been going on and there had been a crowd for Dynamite that night when that drone dropped in the middle of the ring and he made his return, that, it would have got a huge pop, but there was no crowd. And, David, I saw Julia's been banged up and, I'm pretty sure that's why they're doing champion versus champion. So they can put the title on Stephanie McCool. But God, that girl's hot. Stephanie McCool she gets me going.
I'm intrigued though by that Carmen, I think is her name. I like her.
I like Carmella.
Yeah, and I of course like Lash Legend. And I found out something interesting that Tony D'Angelo went to high school with my niece and nephew.
I think I'd seen you post that the other day.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
Hello, Connor.
Hey,
Say
sorry for
everybody.
being
Say hi to the boss, everybody.
being a little late. Having
That's
some
okay.
little technical difficulties, but I think I'm all right now.
We appreciate you being here, and just for we said this on the Wild World of Wrestling the other night, and I'll make sure everybody knows. We've been absent for a little bit. Connor's been under the weather. My father came here; he was on hospice and he passed away. So we both had a lot going on. So we appreciate you joining us, and we'll try to get back into the swing of things and keep it consistent every week with what's going on and back in the full swing of things. And Danny's still on her hunt for Wardlow, so some things just never change. But we'll find him eventually.
I hope so. And I posted in the group today, I just wrote, if anyone, and Jason, you saw this, and I wrote, if anyone sees Wardlow, lawyer him up and get him to AEW immediately. And then I tweeted free Wardlow, because if Starks can go, then Wardlow can go.
Yeah, there's a few people. I think Ray Phoenix is looking to get out.
Yeah.
If Wardlow wants to leave, I think he should at least try to get out. Because in AEW, I don't think that they're going to do anything with him.
No.
I think NXT could use him right now because their men's, like, besides Oba, they got Ricky Starks, but the men's division's kind of lacking right now. So I think Wardlow would kind of be he'd be something that they could use. But yeah,
I know everybody's excited for Ricky Starks, but I mean, I like Ricky. This is not a shot at him, but sticking him, like when Moose and Obafemi came face to face, I was like, oh, good Lord. That's a lot of man in the ring right now.
yeah.
Poor Ricky might get hurt in the middle of those two, because those are two big behemoths that just, everybody had been waiting on that since, the TNA deal happened. So, I've said this before. I'd really like to see, I'm hoping with this 5-year run that TNA gets, you got your cynics out there that think that, WWE's in the process of buying them, and it's possible. You never know. But I really like to see TNA get a major TV deal instead of having to watch them on the app, or watch them, on YouTube or wherever. I'd like to see them, because Access TV, I don't even know who carries Access TV anymore.
I don't have it, and I looked. I went through the whole channel thing and don't have it.
Yeah, I think for this partnership, the biggest thing that they need to try to get out of it is a new TV deal. That's the only thing stopping TNA right now. Like, their show's been pretty good. I watched last week, and Elijah debuted, and he got a really good pop. Really, really good. But I think they can grow more if they have a TV deal that more people get, because it's a hassle to watch Access TV. And you can watch it on the app, but if you're trying to create new fans, paying on an app is probably not the best way to do it. So if they can get on like Sci-Fi, I know WWE has like a deal with them, but now since they're partnered up with WWE, they could probably work something out to get on Sci-Fi, because I think most people get Sci-Fi on YouTube TV Direct.
Yep. Sci-Fi is pretty available.
Yeah,
I think we do here, but I have to look.
yeah, I know YouTube TV carries it. That's
what I've got, YouTube TV. So
yeah, I know they carry it, because SmackDown years ago had like SmackDown's on Sci-Fi. I know Vice is a pretty
now, see, YouTube TV does not have Vice.
Yeah, I know.
Have to do that on YouTube.
A&E WWE has that, but that's not really.
You talk about bad ratings, man. That stuff they're doing now. They're rehashing a lot of the rivalry stuff that they've already done over the past 5 or 6 years, and
on A&E.
The reboot of Tough Enough is just, they're getting like 160, 150,000 ratings for those stuff. So, I mean, I don't know if A&E's happy with it, so be it. But, I saw those ratings. I was just like, okay. Because I've seen the previews for the Tough Enough rebooted, and I just didn't, my girl Mickey's on there, and I'm glad she's doing something with them again, but it didn't look interesting to me at all.
It looked kind of boring. Like, it didn't really. It looked almost like documentary-ish kind of, but it was like a reality show. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. And then somebody posted, oh God, I don't remember where I saw this, but something about if you've got guys in their 40s carrying WWE. So you've got Cena, Punk, Orton, Drew, Seth is almost 40, Roman's almost 40. And Knight is 40. Where are all the new younger stars that should be carrying this company?
Well, again, you go back to NXT and it's like, besides Oba and Tony D'Angelo, of course, you got Ricky Starks, and I mean, there's just not a lot going on down there as far as the men go, as far as I'm concerned. I'd love to see Brian Pillman Jr. Do more than what he's doing, but he's all on the flip side of it. He's doing more than he was in AEW as Lexus King. So, and he seems to be getting better, especially on the mic, because that night with MJF, as soon as I saw him come out, I'm like, oh Lord.
Speaking of Lexus King, his match against Moose was actually really good. I didn't expect it to be that good because Lexus King has a few good matches here and there, but I didn't think him and Moose would gel well together. But they had a really good match, him and Moose.
Yeah, no, it was, and of course he did what he was supposed to do. He put Moose over, so, and whether he wanted to or not, I don't know. If he hadn't wanted to, he wouldn't have had much of a choice, because I don't think he could have done much with that Moose. That looks more like an elk to me. He's a little bit bigger than a moose, but I mean, that dude is huge, man.
I've actually had the privilege of meeting him a few times. When I was part of a booking team of a wrestling promotion, we would book him, and he stayed at my house. Actually, Moose did. He signed my door to my room. I was pretty cool. But he's very, very nice. He is huge. He couldn't fit in my mom's car, so that should tell you how big he is.
Well, but I'll tell you, because there's so many, skeptics out there with, that crap all over WWE, and that's fine if you don't like them. But I would like to see them in this match coming up, shock everybody and put Moose over Obafemi, because nobody will expect that. Mm-hmm. Everybody will expect Obafemi to go over because he's the WWE guy. So I would like to see you don't have to let Moose be dominant, but catch him in something, get to 1, 2, 3, and then maybe a couple months down the road you can set it back up to give Oba his win back. But just the first one, shock the world and let Moose go over.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. Moose is as its entire partnership. Like this is the match I wanted to see. I think most people would say this. Like, who would you want to see Oba go against in TNA? I mean, there's only one person. I mean, who's going to give him a fight? Eddie Edwards is not going to give him a fight.
No.
Josh Alexander would, but he's no longer with TNA. You don't know where he's.
Rumor has it he's AEW bound. So.
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, I would like to have seen him and Ethan Page get back together, but I don't know. Dave Meltzer is sometimes wrong about stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what rumor has it. You never know till somebody shows up, and it's Ethan and Josh have both went on to have good singles careers, but it would be a nice little nostalgic moment to have Ethan come out and have Josh surprise the world and come out and help him. You get a couple of North tag team matches, and they go their separate ways again. Break them up, feud them, do what you want to do with it.
NXT could use someone like Josh Alexander, because like right now, like after Stand and Deliver, they don't really besides Ricky Starks. I mean, I think Trick Williams will probably go to the main roster after WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. They don't really have anybody for Oba to go against. I mean, he can only go against Moose so many times.
Roxanne being in the Elimination Chamber coming up this weekend, and still kind of going back and forth right now.
Yeah,
and they just. I think with the Netflix show with the Netflix partnership, they need at least another show or two, because some of those people do so well in NXT, then they get called up, and like Kiana James. I like Kiana James, and what have we seen her twice since she got drafted? I don't even know where the hell she's at.
I don't even remember what she looks like. No, absolutely.
Well, I think she got injured, but she had a surgery done to
make little enhancement.
Yeah, to make some things bigger. Let's leave it at that. But she should be back pretty soon. She's been at the Performance Center, I think. So she should be back pretty soon. I've always liked her character from when she was in NXT. I thought she had a really cool entrance.
Yeah.
But
kind of like the little thing they would do for the the Rock and Evolution back in the day with that helicopter entrance like that.
Yeah, I did see something that Netflix wants more WWE programming. So an all-women's show may not be a bad idea. I mean, you got 2 new women's titles, and it seems like the women's tag titles always get lost in the shuffle. So maybe an all women's show could help that out.
Yeah, I mean, you could have, like what Danny and I were talking about before you got on. You could have the appearance occasionally by the WWE Women's Champion or the World Champion,
Yeah.
but you keep it for the mid card titles for all three brands, the tag titles, whatever you want to do, and it'll keep some of those ladies from getting lost in the shuffle and still getting TV time, and it'll show you who can get over and who can't.
That'd be a good idea.
I mean, and I don't know what other kind of show that you could possibly do, but I mean, that's why I'd like to see TNA get a major TV deal, because then you might see some of the other guys and girls when their contracts are up actually give TNA a shot, because I mean, AEW and WWE both are so flooded with talent right now. I mean, I was glad people want to give WWE a hard time for all those releases they did not too long ago, and to me, it's like if I was a performer in that position, I would have been glad to get my release, because Cody asked for his, look what he was able to go do, and then eventually come back around. Drew McIntyre the same way. He didn't ask for his release, but he got it. It gives them a chance to either go overseas, go to AEW, go somewhere else they want to go, and maybe get over. So I mean, I never want to see anybody without a job, but if they're not being used, I mean, there's so much wrestling going on right now that all across the globe, that let them go hone their craft and see, make them want you to want them back, instead of just putting them on the sideline and make people forget about them.
Well, yeah, and it's like, okay, let's look at Powerhouse Hobbs, or let's look at Wardlow or Lance Archer. I mean, what is Tony Khan's purpose of keeping them under contract if you don't want to use them? You know what I mean? Like, what's the purpose of that?
Yeah, Wardlow's the main one. I think Lance Archer and Hobbs has been on TV a little bit, but Wardlow, I mean, he hasn't been on TV since Big Business last year.
I think they were talking about that somewhere, Connor, and I don't remember when the last time we saw him was, but I mean, it's just like, what's the purpose of keeping him under contract if you're not going to use him? But then it's like I said, if you're not boys with Tony's baby boy band Bucks, you're as good as forgotten about in AEW. And by the way, this is Dax after Dax Harwood. Dax, can you turn around so people can see you? Never mind. He doesn't want to be seen.
Someone said they did like your cat.
Yeah. Oh, here's Dax. Dax Michael Briscoe. Hi. How are you? Thank you, Richie. I love him. He's 9 months. You're a jerk, but we love you. We'll keep you.
Yeah, mine was in here running around somewhere. She got mad at me because I kept shooing her down. So she'll be back though. Let's see. So yeah, Julie and Stephanie McCool. I look at that. Julie. It's been mentioned a couple of times. I figured that was what it was. Julie's needs some recovery time already. So I'm assuming we'll get Stephanie McCool to win the title versus title match, and then we'll when Julie's ready to go, we'll get that once again. And after Dynamite last night, we might get an Outrunner World Tag Team title run, because the Hurt Syndicate's the one that cost Archer and Cage to lose last night. So coming up at the pay-per-view, what's good for one's good for the other. So you might see Cage and Archer interfere and cause the Hurt Syndicate to lose, and an Outrunner World Tag Team title run, brother.
I do have a new respect now for Brian Cage, because it seems like he grew a personality with a beard.
Well, yeah, he's doing more now than he has since I was done with Brian Cage when he laid down for Tessa Blanchard, because the guy is so flipping huge, and
he is.
And and then he went and laid down for Tessa, and from what I heard, that was his idea. I'm like, dude, are you stupid? I was like, nothing against her. I know some people like her, some don't. That's a topic for a different day. But this was before all that stuff happened, and they put the TNA World Title on Tessa Blanchard and had her beat Brian Cage, and it's just like
that was bad booking.
That was just okay.
I watched that, and I before AEW started, WWE's kind of getting still. I got back into TNA. I was really enjoying it, and then they had Tessa beat Brian Cage, and I was like, I can't. LA Knight left because of that. They wanted him to lay down for Tessa Blanchard, and he wouldn't do it.
Oh God, no.
He wouldn't do it. He said that there's an interview somewhere out there we could find that there has to be some believability in wrestling.
You are like digging your feet.
Well, it's like back in the WCW days, they wanted Disco to lay down for Jackie Moore, and he said no, and they released him, and then
Oh.
you know he
Okay.
he got to come back and have a chat with Bischoff and agreed to do it, so they brought him back. But you know, it's not a good look for your career.
No.
I mean,
No.
now, you know, if you want to do something like that, make it believable. You know, you had Nia Jax go out there and crush somebody like Akira Tozawa. I mean, that's believable. You know, he's 170 pounds maybe, and you know, she's pushing the 300-pound mark. That's believable. You know, if she was to drop the Annihilator on Akira Tozawa, but you don't have one of your major people go out there and lay down like that for. Well, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, it's like with China too. When China, God bless her soul, when she won what did she win? She won
The Intercontinental title.
the title,
Yeah.
and then they booked her as a monster. That was kind of unique because of how she was built. But then you could see after I think the Triple H thing, and who was it that broke her up with Triple H? Was it Russo, I believe, or was it Pritchard? I know it was one of them, but I don't remember who. Get down.
I don't remember, but if you want
to like slim down a little bit, but it was still different. And I mean, if you want to book someone that way, do it. But we're talking Brian Cage versus Tessa Blanchard, who's probably about 5'7", 5'8", maybe the size
if that
of Deanna Purrazzo. I think that's just ridiculous booking.
And Nikki's asking, was China in TNA? She was in there for one night.
Yeah.
They brought her in as Kurt Angle's special mystery tag team partner against Jeff Jarrett and Karen Angle.
Yeah.
But the funny part about that was they knew about her one movie, and they asked her, they were like, "Is that it? Is that all you've done?"
What are we doing?
And she's like, "Yeah, that's the only one." She makes her TNA pay-per-view debut on Sunday, and then Monday her brand new movie dropped. So they were like, "Yeah." Okay. So that was her one and only appearance in TNA.
Yeah, that was. I didn't even see it. Well, I didn't know that she made a TNA appearance. It wasn't that really big of a deal. Like Randy Savage made it. I heard a lot of people made an appearance in TNA that you would have thought they would have kept, like Seth Rollins.
No, you are not stepping on the camera. No, sir. Oh, come on.
Who else? Rakishi was in TNA. Roddy Piper.
Oh yeah, over the years. Yeah, over the years, there was a lot of people that made an appearance, but China's part of the equation you can think for TNA.
Yeah.
If give you a quick backstory on that, China, that whole China Intercontinental title thing with Jeff Jarrett, he was pissed off from a year ago when they had dropped his guarantee. They let his contract run out while he still had the title when he got to the building that night. And he was like, well, you owe me this, and this plus tonight. And, you cut my pay last year. So, give me this amount and I'll go out there and drop the title. And, him and Jim Ross went back and forth for a minute. And Jarrett's told the story. He said that, that he thought he'd be back 15, 20 minutes from talking to Vince. And he didn't come back to talk to him for almost 3 hours. And he said when he got back over there, he was like, okay. And Jeff said he'd had time to stew about it. And he said he looked right at Jim. He said, I thought you were going to take care of this quickly. You didn't. So if you want me to go out there, he goes, I have no problem dropping the title. He goes, I'll give you the title now or double the number. And Ross was like, huh? And he said, that's when he looked at him and said, he said him and Jim are still good friends. They squashed the beef, but, and he knew it was at Vince's behest, but Ross, was the one that actually had to tell him he was dropping his guarantee the year before. And so he told Jim, he says, I can hand you the belt or I can go out there and drop it, but you got to double the number, which was, I think Jeff said it was like $350, for them to cut him a check that night. And he went out and dropped the belt to China. And the next night he was back on Nitro. So.
Yep. I wanted to respond to this one comment. I like proving people wrong.
Which one is that there, sir?
Yeah. I'm going to end up switching platforms again. This crap is ridiculous.
Too much.
Yes. StreamYard had to go up on the prices. Where is it?
That one?
Right here. Ricky made the NXT ratings and Hardys. So most weeks, the peak of NXT is the women, actually. This week, those are not available yet, the quarter ratings. but just this one example I wanted to give off.
No, yeah, NXT's been doing about the same amount of ratings since before Ricky and the Hardys came back. So
Yeah, this week
they've been staying pretty steady.
They got $7.99 this week. This is just an example. February 11th, the peak of the show was 955,000, and it was the Ava Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, and Bailey live segment. After that, they dipped to 733 with the men's segment, and then they had Stephanie Valkyria versus Shotzi. That went to 822. So most weeks, as I see them every week, the women are the peak for NXT lots of weeks. Julia, Stephanie, Zaria. It seems like the women are very popular in NXT. The quarter ratings for this week is not available yet, or at least not to the public. I don't pay for that stuff. I just see it when it's free. But they did get an increase with the Hardys and Ricky Starks because last week they were like 690 something or 650 something, like that range. But this week they went up. But NXT's been doing pretty good in their ratings. They've kind of held steady from 700,000, 800,000. When before they were at 500, 600,000. So they've done pretty good at keeping steady with their ratings. So
yeah, I did see where Max in their tier stuff with AEW, it's not included with the very bottom one anymore. You got to move up to the next tier to get AEW with it. So I did see where they did that, and I'm just I don't care enough about all that stuff to see how they figure in the ratings for Netflix or Max. A lot of people seem like they really care and get concerned about that stuff. I just, again, I've said before, I watch what I like and critique it if I want to, and not turn the channel if I don't like it. So.
Yeah. For me, I think the ratings are like an indicator of how product's cold or hot. But there's lots of other ways these days to view stuff. Certain things like people have different kind of platforms now. Like before, it was just like national, like regular cable, but now you have YouTube TV, you have Apple TV, you have Hulu TV. Like there's so many different things to watch stuff on. But YouTube TV is also counted in the ratings. Some people may not know that. In the national, like the ratings you see for wrestling or whatever, that's also counted. But Max, I really don't think that's affecting AEW. I think people who were watching on Max have already been watching them. They've already been watching AEW. Like they didn't just start watching. So it's probably at least for me, 100,000, 200,000 is what they're getting for Dynamite at least. Collision on a Saturday night, that's kind of tough. Saturday night's not really good. It's not really a good time slot for wrestling on a weekly basis. Like maybe like for a pay-per-view Saturday night or a Saturday's main event, but like an every week thing, Saturdays are just really tough.
I think they would have got more ratings personally if they'd have, being back on TNT and TBS, if they'd have went old school and done it 6:05. They
5:05 Eastern, 6:05. No, 5:05 Central, 6:05 Eastern.
Might have attracted some old school fans just to check it out and tuning in and hearing Tony Schiavone, no matter what you think about him now, but it might have attracted some old school fans.
Tony McCann, who sounds like Uncle Dave. I'm really curious.
Yeah, Tony, who sounds like Uncle Dave.
Probably talking about me.
I don't know if he's talking about me because I was talking about the ratings or what.
No.
Tony McCann. Fun fact: Uncle Dave still has me blocked on Twitter for what I said about it.
Me and you both. Virtual high five. There we go.
Yep. Yeah. There you go.
I'm blocked too by him. So.
And I was when I asked him,
blocked club. Okay.
When I asked him a question, I was very respectful. I mean, I just, I forgot exactly how I worded it, but I just said, "When are you going to start being as harsh on Tony and the AEW product as you are on everybody else?" Yeah. And his response was, "Apparently, you don't listen to me." I'm like, "Really? Okay."
Mine was like 3. Yeah, we're going on 2 years. And this was the summer 2022 before the All Out Media Scrum. And I made fun of the baby backyard boy band and our Tony's Carnival act. And they didn't like that. So they blocked me. One of my friends at that I work with, mind you, I don't teach anymore. I work retail. And one of my friends that I work with, he's a wrestling fan, and he's like, Dave Meltzer and the Bucks blocked you. I go, yeah. He was laughing so hard when I told him.
And now the Bucks haven't blocked me, but Uncle Dave did. So, and
I've got some people that's blocked me. I don't interact with, like, Nick Aldis blocked me. I never interacted with him.
wow.
I
how'd
never
you piss old Nick off?
never interacted with him. Never mentioned him. I'm just blocked. But I did meet him one time. I thought it was really very, very rude. We paid for a picture and autograph. He wanted to try to charge us double when we got there. And I thought we could
That's cool.
but I never mentioned it on social media or anything. I never talked about it. So I don't know. Maybe it was a wrestling opinion I put on Twitter. I don't know.
Well, we got the Elimination Chamber coming this week, and then AEW pay-per-view the following week. And I think I said it the other night. I think this week, from what I've read, we might see Jade Cargill tomorrow night finally. I think the Elimination Chamber, you're going to get either Naomi or Bianca to win, and that heel turn will finally be exposed, or which one of them is the one that attacked Jade. If Cena does not win the men's, I think we'll all be shocked as far as the Elimination Chamber goes.
For the love of WWE ice cream bars, please do not let Cena win. I don't think he should even be in the chamber. LA Knight should be in the chamber. My opinion.
I hear you, but I will tell you, after he lost the Royal Rumble and he come out on that post conference and said he wasn't taking any questions and that he had done enough, that he was going to the Elimination Chamber, I was like, there we go. All right. Because that's going to get a lot of backlash. And what I'm interested to see over his year finale with Joe Hendry talking about him all the time. We're going to get a Joe Hendry John Cena interaction, because I'd like to see.
Oh yeah.
Okay. He's brought his name up, 3 or 4 times on the past few shows of TNA Impact. So, it has me curious see if we'll get a Hendry Cena interaction. What do you think about the Chamber coming up there, Connor?
What was that?
So, what do you think about the Chamber coming up?
It looks pretty good. The most unpredictable, like the men's, I think Punk or Cena wins it. Rollins, I don't see him winning it.
No.
Drew's not going to win it. Priest is not going to win it. Who else is in there? Punk or Cena's going to win it. Well, he's not going to win it. I feel like this match is like whoever loses has to face Logan Paul. Like, that's what it seems like. But I think Cena or Punk wins. We also have The Rock and Cody's segment. I'm very curious where they place that. If it's before the men's chamber or after. So I'm very curious of. Because The Rock could very well insert himself into the chamber if he wants to. That's what I was hoping that was going to happen at the Royal Rumble. When Jey Uso won, like, for the love of God, just come out 31 and dump Jey over. But it would have been better if John Cena won. Everyone's happy, and then The Rock just dumps Cena out.
Well, I will tell you, I was, they don't surprise me very often, but I was surprised when Jey Uso won. I mean, I know he's over and his music, his merch, the whole 9 yards. I don't think he's very great in the ring. I think he gets exposed a lot in singles action. They were a great tag team, but, singles wise, I mean, he's getting better, but I was very shocked when he won. Yeah.
I think.
What are you doing, sir?
I feel like it's too obvious if Cody says, okay, I'm going to be the Rock's champion. Johnson, that press conference, he was very different. And he said that he needed to win he needed to be a 17-time champion because it's best for business. And I don't know, maybe, but John Cena said on the Raw, not Raw, it was the night that he announced his retirement, that he felt like that fans would see right through him if he did a heel run. It's kind of too late for that, but I don't know. I feel like someone like The Rock said that his story with Cody doesn't have to accumulate to a match. So maybe Cody does turn heel, or maybe Punk turns heel. I feel like someone's going to turn on someone in this. It's very unpredictable, kind of like last year. And that's what I like about it, that you can't predict. Like, there's so many ways they can go, and you cannot predict where it's going to go. So it's very intriguing to watch because you want to see where it goes.
Well, however, whatever they do Saturday, even if Cody winds up becoming his champion, it's not going to happen Saturday. They'll drag that out, and like we talked about the other night, it could very well be Cody say, no, kiss my ass, I'm not interested. But, then Cena wins the chamber, and either Cody sticks with it and The Rock helps Cena win. And then you got Cena and The Rock going at it with Cena telling The Rock he never needed his help. He didn't want his help. And you have them square off, or, then you have The Rock help Cody, and then they hug at the end of the match and go sip tequila as WrestleMania goes off the air. I mean, there's a lot of different ways they could go with it.
I could really see the like Vince and Stone Cold, but
yeah, but Cody will make a much better heel champion than Austin was so over with the crowd. I mean, Cody is too, but Cody comes off, with those big words he tries to use, he comes off so condescending, and those 3-piece suits he likes to wear, and looking like $1 million. He will when they are ready to pull the trigger, and at some point they will be, whether it's now or down the road. I think Cody will make an outstanding heel champion.
I feel like Cody, because I seem to remember he was a heel when he first debuted, wasn't he? And then he did that. He had the dark hair, and then he did the gimmick where he had like those. He looked like basically like he was ready to jump into a swimming pool with the face guard on because of the nose thing.
Yeah, he was doing the dashing Cody Rhodes.
That's that.
He actually started out as a babyface, and then it was him and Hardcore Holly as the tag champions, and they were facing DiBiase Jr. and a mystery partner, and Cody turned on Holly and let DiBiase pin him, and then that's when they formed
the Legacy.
Legacy.
Yeah. I feel like Cody is almost in a way, he's one of those guys that is a stronger heel than a face. Like he's just almost awkward as a face. And you're right, with those big words that he uses, he does come off as condescending, but to play that heel card of his, the polar opposite to what his dad, because Dusty was never a heel. I don't.
He was. Dusty was a great heel.
I don't remember really him being a heel. What year was that?
Early 70s. Go back and look up him. And, look up him and Dick Murdoch as the Texas Outlaws.
Okay, I'll look it up. Yeah, I don't remember because growing up watching Dusty myself, and again, it was 5:05 Central, 6:05 Eastern on TBS every Saturday. And kids, that is available on the WWE network. If you go under WCW, you can watch old episodes that were taped in the Omni studio, which is kind of cool. But I don't remember Dusty ever being a heel. But then for Cody to be this monster heel, if they book this right, this would be huge because he's almost like a forced face. And he's kind of what Roman was when they tried to turn him into another John Cena, which obviously failed.
I don't know what's
Cody wanting to finish the story, got over with the crowd. They got behind him because of what he had been through, but it's ran its course, and he's kind of at that. Yeah, he's kind of hit that Hulk Hogan phase in WCW. You're hearing, a lot of cheers, but you're starting to hear some boos trickled in there too. Yeah. And it's like I was telling Connor the other night. You really want to get him nuclear heat? Bring Brandy in. When you turn him heel, bring Brandy with him.
That would be kind of funny. Yeah. We talked about that. I think it was on the Pod Champs. We talked about that. Cody did some stuff in TNA when he left WWE. He went to Ring of Honor for a little bit. Well, no, I think he went to TNA first with Brandy, and he was a very, very good heel. Very good. He needs to be the exact opposite of what he is now. He basically kissing babies, shaking hands, and all that. He needs to be the complete opposite of that. And I think Cody can pull it off. If you've ever seen his heel work, especially in the indies and stuff, he's a very, very good heel. I think it's time for him to pull something like that. It's kind of ran its course right now. I feel like he's kind of a little stale. Cody is right now, a little stale. I think there needs to be something to shake things up, and him turning heel probably could do that.
Well, yeah, if you put him with The Rock, The Rock like that, if you go back with Roman, you were talking about him, and at least Cody has been over as a babyface. Roman never really was. That whole Roman Empire shit they tried to do and everything else. The fans didn't get behind Roman until he come out there and was like, not to take anything from MJF, but basically I'm better than you.
Right.
And and I'm going to go out here and do what I want to do, and I don't care if you like it or not. And that first 5 or 6 months, but they were booing him constantly with Heyman. But then after that steady rise to, and then after he lost to Cody, I mean, the next night they're chanting Roman's name when Cody's out there with his acceptance speech on the title. I mean, so and Cody's already got that head start. So if they did it right, I believe he could probably be bigger than Roman if he wanted.
Well, look at what they did with the Rock when the Rock debuted, and we're actually watching. What are we watching? We're watching Nitro after the NWO formed, before Sting was basically before Fall Brawl '96, and we were watching Raw when the Rock debuted, which was it was '96, I believe.
We talking The Rock, or are we talking Rocky Maivia?
Rocky Maivia. Rocky Maivia.
God, that was awful.
Yeah. So when he debuted, it was almost like, okay, he's here. They made such a big deal about his legacy. Like, oh, he's the son of the High Chief, Peter Maivia, grandson. His dad was Rocky Johnson. Okay. So we basically acknowledged that, but they obviously didn't acknowledge him being related through marriage to Sika, Afa, Islanders, Haku, Tama, whatever. And when they had him debut, it was like nobody cared. 97, I believe it was. Yeah, it was 97 comes around. He's injured. He comes back as a member of the Nation of Domination, and the rest was history.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was a lot like that too, that he was being forced down our throats, much like Cody is being forced down our throats as a face.
It's got to be organic. Can be forced. They try to shove Roman Reigns down people's throats for many years. They booed him every week.
Oh, they did.
I feel like if they would have done the Tribal Chief stuff then, how would WWF peak then?
I don't know, because you still had Heyman with Lesnar, and Lesnar was still he was still around a whole lot. So I credit Roman with a lot that he did, but Heyman also had a lot to do with that, and so I don't know how well that gets over. Nikki, we covered some of AEW. We're gonna, look forward to the pay-per-view in 2 weeks, and we're gonna get Mariah May and Tony Storm yet again.
At least Marina Shavir's not in it. That's the good part.
What's that?
At least Marina Shavir's not in it.
They let Willow smack her in the head last night. I can't. The whole time they've been doing this, I've been waiting on Beth Phoenix to come out and help cope with that Death Rider situation, but we still hadn't seen her yet. We're getting Mercedes Moné, and I can't remember the girl's name she's facing. Help me out here,
Connor, I'm just gonna grab for Marina Shafir. Okay,
Momo, I think that's her name. Momo, or I don't know where they get these people. Do they not have anybody from? She's basically beat everybody. I mean, she beat Britt Baker, she beat Anna Jay, she beat Willow, she just beat Harley Cameron.
People like what they like, and here's my stuff that some people probably don't like, but to me, Harley Cameron's been the most entertaining thing they've had on TV for a while.
Hilarious.
That stuff with the puppet and Mercedes Moné was just absolutely fantastic.
Harley Cameron's growing on me.
What would be a great payoff if they keep building her up, get her some more wins, and then have Harley Cameron beat Mercedes at All In. Some people were wanting to do it at Grand Slam, but she only had one win. I think they need to build her up, get her some more wins, put her in some feuds, and get some more momentum, then have the payoff at this is their WrestleMania. All In is.
Yeah.
I would do it there because Mercedes has not proven to want to put anybody over in AEW, because she does have 100% creative control. She has her own writer. She gets paid whatever she wants. So.
That's never ended well in the wrestling business, giving people creative control. So
it has not.
Yep. Somebody's playing Tony Khan, and he's not, and she's not the only person who's doing it.
If she's gonna keep winning belts, let's just put a mask on her and call her the female Ultimo Dragon.
Oh, and this is also something to note. The woman that she's going against, Momo, she has a trophy, so I imagine Mercedes is going to win that trophy off of her.
Oh God.
So that'll be another accolade for Mercedes.
I know we're getting MJF and Hangman Page at the pay-per-view. We're getting the Outrunners and the Hurt Syndicate. I already covered that earlier. I think we might get Outrunners title run with Cage and Archer interfering in that. I do think at some point we're going to get a Cedric debut to put him to complete the Hurt Syndicate. I hope we do anyway.
I'm waiting. Yeah.
Let's see, what else do we got now? Sasha Banks and Mercedes Moné, Momo. We're getting Tony Storm, Mariah May again. And here's where I want to have a little fun with it. Because you're getting Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole Saturday night, and I don't know if that's live or if it's been taped already. I haven't looked it up, but so I don't know if we'll get a TNT title match at the pay-per-view or not. But the world title. Let's talk about the world title.
Yeah.
Right. We're getting John Moxley and Adam Copeland.
Yeah.
And if y'all been waiting to get pissed off at me this whole show, well, here's your time.
I don't know if I can cope with Cope being Cope instead of Adam Copeland.
Well,
I still can't cope.
This show's called Unscripted for a reason.
This whole Death Rider thing, him and his WWE squad. And before one of you dumbasses come out and say, well, Uyghur didn't work in WWE, I did my research, and he actually did. He sold T-shirts. They just would not let him wrestle.
And who was this?
Uyghur.
Okay.
You had Claudio Castagnoli as Cesaro. You had Pac as Neville, and Marina Shafir I guess that her name in NXT?
Unfortunately, so yes.
So yeah, we're just going to say Uyghur was selling T-shirts, and he worked there too. So anyway,
I called him a nerd on Twitter. I called him a nerd that wrestles because he looks like a nerd. Like he just stands there and he's like the background nerd that stands around and tries to be cool but isn't, and tries to be hip. So he's basically like, if any of you guys have seen Revenge of the Nerds, he reminds me kind of Poindexter trying to wrestle.
I do think the two best matches of the night is going to be, Kenny and Takeshita, Ospreay and Fletcher. By hands down, I believe those will be the two best matches on the card. So let's just throw that out there.
So do we have any heel turns? Because I did read something that somebody, and I don't remember where I read this, but something about FTR needs a heel turn, Ospreay needs a heel turn.
FTR joined the Death Riders.
Yeah, FTRs became very, very stale. You talk about Cody being stale. FTR, they haven't done anything with them in ages.
Yeah.
If you want to add to the former WWE squad, throw them in there. Shit. I mean, we got 20 of them we can throw in there if you want to.
It was basically, if they do add them, it'd just be NWO 2.0 at that point.
So I just want to point out that the main event of what's the name of their pay-per-view coming up?
Revolution.
That's what I thought. I want to make sure is Moxley versus Copeland, or what I'm about to do is Edge versus Dean Ambrose, for one reason. I am all for guys changing companies. They did it, and they've done it for, since the dawn of time with wrestling. That's fine. But here's what I want to point out. Everybody's WWE's garbage. AEW is so much better. We'll have some fun with the world title here in a second. We're going to start with the TNT title. Here's the history of the TNT title. Cody Rhodes, Brody Lee, or Luke Harper, whatever you prefer. Cody Rhodes, Darby Allin, Miro or Rusev, whichever you prefer. Sammy Guevara, Cody Rhodes. You see a theme here? Sammy Guevara, Scorpio Sky, Sammy Guevara, Scorpio Sky. There was a Wardlow sighting in 2022. Samoa Joe, Darby again, Samoa Joe again. Wardlow's back in 2023. Powerhouse Hobbs, who has been very underutilized in my opinion. Wardlow again, Luchasaurus, Christian, Adam Copeland, Jack Perry.
Why do I feel like I'm on a merry-go-round with this, Connor?
And Daniel Garcia. And if people know, Daniel Garcia and 2.0 at one point were in NXT. Oh, so the tag team titles isn't that big a deal. But then let's go to the world title. Let's have some fun with this one. And you guys point me out the AEW originals or non-WWE people to hold the title.
Okay.
Your inaugural champion, Chris Jericho. John
WWE.
Moxley, Dean Ambrose,
WWE.
Kenny Omega, Adam
AEW.
Page,
AEW.
CM Punk, John Moxley, Dean Ambrose. He was interim champion, then the interim came off, so they got him twice. CM Punk, John Moxley, Dean Ambrose. There's MJF. Oh, wait, Samoa Joe. Swerve Strickland. Now, yes, AEW, in my opinion, him and Tony Storm, they have used better than WWE did, but they were there nonetheless before then. Bryan Danielson. And our current reigning champion, Dean Ambrose, John Moxley. You see a trend there? Anybody see a trend?
I'm dizzy just by listening to all this.
And your current tag team champions of the Hurt Syndicate or the Hurt Business, whatever. And I would not be shocked at some point if Cedric does come in. That this would actually be a good way to bring Cedric in, let them lose the titles to the Outrunners, bring Cedric in, have Shelton and Cedric regain the titles, and push Bobby in the world title picture. Because Bobby Lashley's, he's about as believable as you're going to get. And, but I'm not saying you should like WWE better or whatever. All I'm saying is you guys come at us so much for when we criticize stuff, but your current reigning champions, except for Takeshita and Okada, everybody else are former WWE people.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're sitting there bitching and moaning about it, you're bitching and moaning about everybody Tony Khan's put the titles on. Just remember that.
Yeah. Hangman, I don't think was in WWE.
No, Hangman's never been. No,
Kenny Omega not in WWE, like a developmental deal or something?
It was when they had, it wasn't Florida. It was which one was it? It was so long ago.
Florida Championship Wrestling.
It was before that. They
was it the school that they had at the headquarters?
It was.
Oh God, what was it?
They had Ohio
OVW.
Valley. They had OVW and they had another one. It was like Heartland or something, and that's where he was. He was never in OVW. He was in like Heartland or something.
Yeah,
but it was a long time ago.
There's only like one or two people that were not in WWE. The world title, that is.
Yeah, it was three of them. You had three originals. Hangman, MJF, and Kenny Omega. I mean, because like I said, Kenny, it's been so long ago, and that OVW was by far the training grounds that everybody remembers. Speaking of OVW, we're supposed to be getting Randy Orton back here any day as well for the WrestleMania season. So
I miss him.
I'll be interested to see what they do with that, because I don't think he was hurt. I think he just took a break.
Yeah, and I miss him.
So they got all kinds of stuff coming up. So like I said, that's just my opinion for the Elimination Chamber. Getting back to what we got coming this weekend. I think we're going to get a Naomi or Bianca turn in the women's and see who attacked Jade Cargill. Until somebody else wins. My pick is Cena for the Elimination Chamber, and Danny will be jumping up and doing backflips for that, and so. And speaking of Wardlow there, Danny, do you have any idea what his contract status is? I mean, how long he's got left? I mean,
Not that I. Oh gosh, excuse me. Let me move this guy. Get off the desk. Thank you. Honestly, no, but I know that he, again, and I know Connor, I believe you and I were talking about this before too. He wants out. I don't know when it expires. Connor, do you know anything when it expires?
Not really.
Okay.
He is not injured because he's wrestling in April. He's gonna be wrestling some independent dates. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's something to look forward to then, because Tony let Ricky Stark start doing some stuff, outside of AEW when he wasn't on TV right before he released him. So,
if Wardlow wants to, because like right now, discussing with Ray Phoenix, they're discussing him leaving. So now's the time if you want to get out. Like if he can let Ricky Starks and them go, I don't see why he couldn't let Wardlow go. So
right.
Well, it's like we talked about earlier. Both companies' rosters are so stacked. I mean, people wind up getting lost in the shuffle. I mean, I forgot who it was. A couple weeks ago on both companies, somebody come out. I'm like, oh damn, I forgot they were even here. I mean, people want I mean, look, Lance Archer's a prime example. I mean, I've liked him since his TNA days, and he'll go so long without being on TV that they bring him back for a few months and. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot we still had him.
It's the same formula. Like they bring him back, have him in a few squash matches, build him up, and then he'll go against someone like Orange Cassidy or Darby, he'll lose, stay off TV for 3 months, then come back and do the same thing. It's just
Now what's Darby doing? I think he was hurt, wasn't he? Isn't that where he's been?
what I think he's fixing to climb Mount Everest. He's taking time off, so got to go climb Mount Everest.
Well, we are coming up on the hour. Danny, any final thoughts here?
One question I just wanted to bring to you guys too, and I know I dropped this in the chat. Very quickly, drop it in your comments. A friend of mine at work, my friend Jeremy, also a wrestling fan, he said that MJF leaving AEW would hurt them more than people think it would. And my friend Logan, he also is a wrestling fan at work, and he said that MJF showing up at WWE programming would turn WWE upside down, because the one thing he would do is laugh in the face of Roman Reigns. So I just want to kind of get your guys' thoughts. Drop it in the chat quickly before we end for the evening. What do you guys think Maxwell Jacob Freeman leaving AEW would do for AEW? How would it hurt them?
I think it would hurt both of them personally. He's not as over as he was at one point. He's not getting the reaction that he used to. He still gets quite a good reaction, but it's not what it was. But on the flip side, he has such moments where he's so over the top that kind of keeps him, keeps people going, oh, hell, what is he going to say next?
Right.
That he's not going to get those opportunities in the WWE. They're not going to allow him to do that. So
he'd be watered down.
And I think it would hurt both of them. I think it would hurt his overall value, and it would be another original that has left the company. So I think it would hurt both equally.
I think I don't know. MJF is probably the only guy that got signed and did it all on himself. A lot of guys had a lot of help. MJF was all on his own. He went to get so many Hall of Fame talent and delivered. Punk, Jericho, Danielson, Joe. He didn't work with Kenny Omega, but just those names right there. I think MJF. I think his popularity would go up if he decided to go to WWE. Especially if you because normally when someone is teasing leaving somewhere, or if they leave and then all of a sudden more people care about them. Like when WWE released all these people, all of a sudden there's big fans of them. They're big fans of these people, but before when they were in WWE, they didn't care nothing about them. I think MJF and Cody Rhodes said this a year or two ago that Cody Rhodes said that you would see MJF in WWE eventually.
And I agree with that. I think he will at some point.
I think John Cena and him were together, and I believe someone said that John Cena said that trying to get him to come play in the big leagues. I think it was at the Iron Claw red carpet thing or whatever. Sure. I don't know. I would like to see MJF, and I think it would hurt AEW. But I know his contract expires in 28, 29. So by the time he leaves, a lot of people would have been retired. I don't think AJ Styles will be wrestling anymore.
No.
CM Punk, I don't know if he's going to be wrestling still by that time. Cena definitely will be gone. Orton, I don't know. I think he's going to be wrestling more than John Cena. I don't know.
I think some of these contracts that what you've seen happen as far as a Wardlow or Ricky Starks, Ray Phoenix, I know Adam Cole, when he signed for 5 years, and you add injury time to Adam Cole's contract, he'll be 50 before he can get out of there. And I don't think you're going to see anybody signing a 5-year contract with AEW.
No,
anytime soon.
Yeah, it's still, it's kind of again, I want to throw early childhood ed in here. It's almost like AEW again is almost run like a startup company, like they're just starting out. That's kind of the mentality, but still, it's what was it that Bischoff said? It's where careers go to die.
Well, I'll tell you too, and this is just, again, it's my opinion. I know a lot of people out there like it better, and that's fine. I mean, it's entertainment, but AEW reminds me of Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's first match, everybody's like, oh my God, of course she was in there with Triple H and Kurt Angle and Stephanie McMahon, but they're like, oh my God, she did so great for her first match, but she never got any better. She regressed.
Yeah.
And everybody was so excited for AEW. And I mean, the first couple of years, you go back and watch stuff they put on Max, you'll see why we get so aggravated with where they are now versus where they were then. And I'll tell you, go back to WWE for the Elimination Chamber. I got one thing at the Elimination Chamber I hope happens. You know how you can pin somebody that before all the competitors get in the ring? You know, you can eliminate somebody before everybody's in there. I want all 6 competitors in the ring before anybody gets eliminated. I want Logan Paul to be talking shit to all of them, and they just stop and look at him. And then he gets hit with 5 different finishers, and whoever hits the last finish pins him, and they throw his ass out, and the rest of them start going at it. So that's what I want to see for the Elimination Chamber.
So it'd be a curve stomp, a GTS, a spear, a choke slam, and a Claymore.
A Claymore,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, and whoever hits him with the last one's the one that gets to pin him. So, and that, you know, I know they're putting Logan Paul over him by him getting pinned that way. It would not diminish his physical capabilities. You just got hit with 5 finishes in an Elimination Chamber. Anybody's going to lay down for it, you know. So that would be a good way to get him out because you know he's not going to the chamber. So I mean, he's not going to WrestleMania for that. So
No.
Connor, any final thoughts?
I am looking forward to the Elimination Chamber this weekend. It should be a good show. I hope everyone enjoys themselves watching it. I hope that CM Punk wins. I'm going for CM Punk. I went for him at the Royal Rumble.
I can't see that happening.
I'm going for Punk. I will be wearing my Punk shirt on Saturday.
You can't see that happening. I see what you did.
No, the only because I mean, and again, like I said, they really surprised me with Jey Uso at the Rumble, so they could surprise me again. But
Yeah.
you know, the rumored matches have been Cody and Cena, and then a 3-way with Roman, Seth, and CM Punk. That's and again,
I heard
you know,
that too.
asterisk card subject to change. So anything can happen, but that's just.
I just hope they don't pull another Jey Uso and have like Logan Paul win. I don't want to see that. I want to see Damian. I like Damian Priest, but he's just someone good to have in there. He doesn't need to win it. But Punk, I think it's going to come down to Punk or Cena to win it. The women's looks pretty good. I want anyone besides Liv Morgan to win. I'm telling
you, I'm calling that now. It's going to be. I'm hoping it'll be Naomi for the heel turn because she needs that more than Bianca does. Bianca's over like Grover and that, like we've talked about before. When they brought Naomi back, I was really hoping they'd bring her back as Trinity Fatoon as a heel to put her with the bloodline and give the bloodline a female presence.
Oh, sure.
But they didn't. That glow stuff has ran its course, in my opinion. And, you know, I like Naomi, and I think her character could really use a refresh. And by, you know, whether you change her name or not, but by, you know, changing her, you know, flipping her heel, you know, and saying, yeah, I tag Jade. So what? You know, I was getting overlooked. You know, however they want to do it. But, you know, if you go back to when she was in TNA, she did well.
Yeah.
You know, kind of branching out on her own that way. So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Should be a good show. Sports Revolution, I haven't watched AEW in, I don't know when the last time I watched. Some of the things that happened, I don't know if I'll ever watch AEW like I used to. Sucks to say that because I was a day one fan. I was a hardcore AEW fan, but I still do keep up with it. Like, even though I don't watch on a weekly basis, I still know what's going on. Like the Death Riders and Copeland, you know, Mariah and Tony, Swerve and Ricochet. I still know what's going on.
I forgot. Yeah, that match is going to take place at Revolution. I forgot about that. Well, you know, I told you my 2 favorite parts of the show. I mean. And I know it's comedy based, but the Outrunners and Harley Cameron I get a kick out of watching both of them, man. I enjoy those segments.
But yeah, for me, I enjoyed NXT this week. I thought that was the better show for me personally. I love the Hardys. As a kid, Jeff Hardy was my favorite. Dressed up for him for Halloween. I dressed up like him every day pretty much because I would get in the ring and do Swanton Bomb from the house to the trampoline to the ladder. I would do all that stuff. But should be a good weekend of wrestling. Yeah, it was great. Like we had a lot of good comments on. Even if you're Tony McCon, we all appreciate you watching.
Yeah, and then you talk about Jeff dressing up as Jeff Hardy. That's a great story to hear Sting tell when he got hurt in that match with Seth Rollins, and Seth's in the back, you know, watching him getting loaded to the ambulance, going, "Sting, I dressed up as you for Halloween." It's so funny to listen to Seth and Sting tell that story because, you know, You know, Sting was like, man, stop giving Seth a hard time. That was on me. You know, that wasn't Seth. And
Oh,
you know, then he's like, I dressed up as you for Halloween. He goes, I'm laying there with my neck in a brace. It's like, okay, man, cool. So, but like I said, we got the Chamber this weekend. We got Revolution next weekend. A lot of stuff in between. Jade Cargill, Randy Orton, possibly back tomorrow night. We shall see. But until then, we got all kinds of stuff. Pod Champs coming up Saturday, Connor.
Yes, we might be doing it a little early because of the Elimination Chamber. But we will be doing the pod champs. Not sure what the topic's going to be. No, Mr. Jacobs gave me like 200 new topics because we kind of ran out. So we'll have a topic. But yeah, we will be doing the pod champs, but it'll probably be at a later start time.
Yeah, once we get through WrestleMania season, we'll start looking at a lot of different topics. There's going to be a lot of stuff to cover leading up to WrestleMania, then the Raw after. But you know, then we'll start covering some old school stuff that this old boy here likes. So until then, for our boss, Swanton Connor, the diva, the wrestling junkie, she's going to check her milk carton, see if we can find Wardlow.